Hello guys, you are seeing Prime News Australia, where we show you the latest and important news of Australia in the fastest and reliable way. So come, let's start by not delaying. 25 big updates of the Australia, especially for you. Before proceeding in the video, comment by commenting from which state you are watching, and also like video, so that YouTube can reach this video to more people of Australia. A demonstration against the New South Wales Police's response to Monday's protest in Sydney against the visit by Israeli President Isaac Herzog ended mostly without incident last night, despite an hour-long standoff between protesters and police. In a statement last night, NSW police said an 18-year-old man was arrested at the protest after allegedly continuously shining a torch in the face of police officers. The head of Australia's Domestic Intelligence Agency has dismissed criticisms that his officers didn't do enough to prevent the Bondi shooting attack as baseless, while declaring claims by a former undercover agent aired on the ABC were untrue. ASIO's Director General Mike Burgess told a Senate estimates hearing last night he ordered a review immediately after the attack into how his agency assessed shooters Naveed Akram and his father Sajid in 2019 when they first appeared on the radar. Speculation mounts over Taylor and Liberal leadership challenge. Speculation is growing that Angus Taylor could resign from Shadow Cabinet today, as he positions himself for a leadership spill against Susan Ley. Shadow Cabinet rules mean Taylor would have to resign to begin publicly campaigning against Ley, and would see Taylor's close allies also forced to resign from their frontbench positions. Australia's Islamophobia envoy, Aftab Malik, has called for a public apology and investigation into New South Wales police grabbing men kneeling in prayer during a Sydney protest against Israeli President Isaac Herzog's visit. Video shot at a protest in Sydney on Monday night showed about a dozen men, led by Sheikh Wessam Charkawi, kneeling in prayer before police descended on the group at the Sydney Town Hall during the protest. The former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull has defended the government's invitation to Isaac Herzog and said he should be respected as a guest while he visits. Speaking to ABCRN Breakfast this morning, Turnbull said protesters should have demonstrated peacefully and heeded the advice of police. But he added that in hindsight, the police should have allowed men who were praying on the street to finish. The men were captured on film, being dragged on the ground by officers. The Commonwealth Bank has warned that interest rates remain under upward pressure from inflation after reporting a record $5.45 billion half-year cash profit backed by surging home loan volumes and business lending. Australia's biggest lender said in an earnings release this morning that the economy was struggling to meet increased consumer demand. CBA said, as a result, inflation is now expected to remain above the Reserve Bank's target band for some time, placing further upward pressure on interest rates. GP bulk billing rates have seen a record jump in the 3 months since the government's bulk billing incentives began, the health minister claims. Since bulk billing incentives were expanded to all Medicare cardholders in November, the rate for all Australians has risen to 81.4% nationwide, the largest quarterly jump in bulk billing in 20 years outside of the COVID-19 pandemic, according to a statement from the health minister. Housing costs continue to rise as average rents jump 5.4% in year to January. Hopes for a reprieve in runaway rental growth have been dashed after rent rises re-accelerated into the new year, pushing affordability to new lows. Despite efforts by the federal and state governments to lift the supply of new homes, housing costs continue to rise faster than wages amid historically low vacancy rates. Senator Dave Sharma says he backs the opposition leader Susan Ley amid a possible spill, but says he will support whoever has been elected by the Liberal Party room to be leader. Sharma, who is part of Ley's moderate faction, has told ABC Sydney that Ley has my support as leader, adding he is not involved in speculation or discussions about her future. The government has introduced its modified $3 million super tax legislation into Parliament this morning, as part of a reform which will also lift the threshold for the low-income supertax offset that will boost the savings for more than 1 million Australians. Under the new rules, the tax on earnings from balances over $3 million will double to 30% and go up to 40% on earnings from balances over $10 million. After much debate, the original proposal was modified to tax only realized gains, and the threshold will be indexed. Assuming the changes pass through Parliament, the extra $3 million supertax will start from the middle of 2026. The Victorian government is proposing apartment towers of up to 20 stories across some of Melbourne's wealthiest inner suburbs, as part of its plan to significantly increase housing supply. The planning minister, Sonia Kilkenny, on Wednesday will release draft maps showing proposed heights and boundaries of 10 more of the government's 50 activity centres. Under the plan, first announced in October 2024, the state government will seize planning controls for the designated areas, located near train and tram stops, from local councils to allow greater density, increased building heights, faster approval processes, and fewer avenues for appeal, in an effort to significantly increase housing supply. More liberals have come out telling Angus Taylor and his allies to stand up and call the leadership spill publicly. Moderate Senator Maria Kovacic, who is a staunch Sisonlay supporter, told reporters today, "Enough is enough of the ongoing chatter on leadership. If you want to call a spill, put your name to it and call it." Isaac Herzog will soon have lunch with the Governor-General, Prime Minister, and leader of the opposition today at Government House. The details are being tightly held, so we don't know if anyone else will be there. Security is also, unsurprisingly, very tight. To New South Wales Police Commissioner Mal Lanyon says he has apologized to Muslim community leaders for any offense that may have been taken, following an incident at Monday night's protest in Sydney, in which a group of people praying were moved on by police. The controversial incident, which was shared widely on social media, prompted the Premier, Chris Minns, to reject the suggestion it showed police disproportionately targeted the Muslim community. A coalition of Muslim groups has called for Lanyon to resign over the incident. Several hundred people have gathered outside Parliament House in protest of the visit of Israeli President Isaac Herzog later today. Many are carrying large signs, including "Stop Arming Israel," "Jews Against Herzog," and "Justice for Palestine," as the crowd on Parliament's front lawn is awaiting speeches soon to start, with Greens MPs among the speakers. Bondi hero Ahmed Al-Ahmed received a standing ovation from New South Wales MPs in question time today. Al-Ahmed, who disarmed one of the alleged Bondi gunmen before being shot 5 times, was welcomed by the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, Greg Piper, as a, quote, "person that has become a national hero, an international hero indeed, an inspiration to our communities right around Australia, but certainly here in NSW," prompting MPs to stand and applaud. The High Court has delivered a landmark win for survivors of clergy abuse this morning, finding the Catholic Church had a duty of care to protect a child from one of its pedophile priests. Lawyers have been keenly watching the case and say it will have broader consequences for the liability of the Church over historical child sexual abuse claims. Albanese says he raised Zomi Frankcom's death in Gaza with Isaac Herzog to the crossbench. Zali Steggall asks the Prime Minister if he will push for accountability from the Israeli president over the death of Australian Zomi Frankcom and her 6 World Central Kitchen colleagues who were killed by an Israeli airstrike on their convoy in Gaza in 2024. Anthony Albanese says he raised the issue of Frankcom and other concerns to Isaac Herzog this morning. Victorian police have been forced to cancel designated weapon searches in the past month that again did not comply with the law, even after reporting 33 similar previous breaches to EBOC. The force scheduled 3 searches in declared areas in Morwell for the 27th of January, the 2nd of February, and the 9th of February. Anyone entering a declared area can be searched by police under the Control of Weapons Act, with the force saying the powers are vital to crack down on youth offenders and violence at protests. Independent MP Sophie Scamps won't be at question time today, in protest against Isaac Herzog's visit to Australia. In a statement, Scamps says she, quote, deeply disagrees with the visit, warning that it normalizes the atrocities that have occurred in Gaza over the past 2 years. Australia has joined global condemnation of Israel over measures to tighten its control of the West Bank. Announcing the measures, which involve extending Israeli control in areas that are currently under Palestinian administration, Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, made clear they were aimed at strengthening Israeli settlements in the West Bank and preempting the emergence of an independent sovereign Palestine,